don't even fucking talk about passion, because your life is smooth sailing. Of course, you feel passionate about it, but the true test of a character is always, I think, it's always when you are going through the tough times.
Hey guys, we have Maverick Foo here with me. He's a renowned serial entrepreneur here in Malaysia. He has recently founded Authority.Institute, where he makes your personal brand to the next level by creating content and distributing content effectively. He's also the founder of BD Labs, where he helps businesses with their B2B strategies through persuasive email marketing strategies. He's also founded a number of companies like Kickstarter.my, and also he has worked with Mindvalley. And Maverick, welcome to the show.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
What's up?
Thanks for being on the show. So Maverick, since you started a lot of companies here in Malaysia and very renowned companies like Kickstarter.my, so tell us, how did you start your entrepreneurship journey?
Okay, so to be frank, I think I'm actually a dropout. So unemployed. I think employment is a bit difficult. So basically, I dropped out 3 months prior to graduation. So and of course, in loving memory of my mom, it's not because of poor results as well. My CGPA was 3.6 out of 4, but it's more like me knowing that I don't want to become an employee. So I think that's how at 23. Yeah, so at 23, I started exploring a bit. I was working part-time at night while I was kind of searching in the morning to do stuff. And then eventually my first business was, oddly enough, it was actually an MLM company in Singapore that did not have proper license in Malaysia. So I was actually importing, I would say illegally, basically bringing the products in to sell it over here in Malaysia without a proper license. So that was my first dabble onto entrepreneurship. And the biggest lesson I learned is, as good as MLM is as a model, the margins are pathetic. So, and then I also realized at that time that I actually love creating flyers and packaging, which I wasn't allowed to do because in most companies, I don't know, right now, you can't really change much of the marketing materials, especially when it comes to MLM, because they're quite sensitive. I understand where they're getting from. It's because they don't want basically marketers like us overpromise. So that was my first experience with entrepreneurship. So after that, I went on to start and crash like 5 businesses. Some due to partnership. The third one was due to marketing. So actually my first 2 businesses, I managed to smooth it out without actually learning marketing. But it was actually my third one that I started that I actually really have a good mentor that teaches me on proper marketing. So back then, 2007, I think. So newspaper ads were still very valid. So my mentor, Raj, he is actually a very accomplished copywriter for newspaper ads. So for those viewers that you have, especially the millennials, they may not know what a fucking newspaper is. So it's a very obsolete, I won't say obsolete, it's still valid in certain circles. But when you pay like 3,000 to 5,000 ringgit, which is roughly like $1,000 to $1,005 for a A5 size space, and usually we do it black and white. So you have like super less real estate to basically capture attention, at the same time drive action, and to basically get them people to sign just from an ad. So in the good old days, one good ad can get like 100 plus inquiries, which is good, which is your cost per inquiry is roughly about 30 ringgit. But nowadays, I think we can get even 5 or 10. You're like fucking good already, man. So that's why newspapers, it still works more for visibility and awareness, but in terms of action is on the lower end. So but I walked out of the experience learning copywriting. So then from there, I guess it kind of got into I was trying fax marketing for a while. So that's actually how fucking old I am. But fax marketing, if the to the viewers, if let's say they still have fax machines, I think it's still a very good marketing tool. The reason is because when you send a fax flyer over, right, no matter what, someone will have to pick it up and throw it. But in the process of picking up, they will actually read it and before they throw it. So you get quite a good impression. So Dell was doing that for some time. So they were like compact, I think, HP. So which means that every time when they send a flyer over, someone will have to look at it, and throw. But after a few times, it actually registers ahead, you see. So fax marketing was effective on that sense. But then I think up to 8 years ago, fax kind of went obsolete. So then that's where I move on to email marketing and then content marketing. So it's quite a interesting journey. So the skills that I learned in a way form the different companies that I have. So like just now you mentioned BD Labs. So BD Labs is still like you and my business is still very solo. We still had to issue our own invoices and all that. But from there, I've actually, so Authority Institute is a new one. So I need to backtrack a bit. So for the first few businesses, some I did on my own as a solopreneur, which is great. You can run your own free time. You are your own biggest overhead. But the challenge is always yourself. So which is at the moment, if you are sick or you stop doing marketing, then the whole thing will go down. So there's no systems, there's no hiring people, which is bad. So Placid.com is still around. It's a training company. So that one was, I would consider a successful solopreneur journey of mine because we have clients that are like 6 figures. At one point, I was actually struggling against GST because I guess now I can say it because GST is abolished. So I was trying not to hit the 500,000 revenue mark because I do not want my company to be, to register for GST and all that. Because anything between 500,000 to 1 million at that time, the systems that you need to put in place is actually, you lose out on profit before you start seeing a bigger one. So, well, I guess for those who are listening in, if they are from the income tax office, so I was actually creating different companies for billing. And one of the companies I created was BD Labs for all my marketing stuff, right? So then, but the problem with Placid is because it's a training company where I need to consult clients. It has to be face-to-face. So I think you have that issue as well, where some of Asian clients are very kinesthetic. They like to hey, come now, we meet, even though it can be done over the phone, but they still want to meet. So when I created BD Labs, I was experimenting with, can I build a business that I can do remotely? Which means that if I can migrate to different countries, I can operate anywhere in the world. So that was like a 2 years plus experiment. Frankly, I think I failed because even though I had clients on retainer, I was actually working 6 to 8 times harder compared to when I was doing my training business, which means that if last time I actually can pride around that I only work 90 minutes a day, which is true. I only work from 9 to 10:30 which is I send out all my marketing emails for my training programs, get all my clients ready, proposals all sent out. After 10:30, it's just kind of like, if got emails come in, I'll reply. If clients call, I will pick up, but I don't work on my business after 10:30, So that was a very nice life. But when I started BD Labs, I realized I had to go back to almost like working 9 to 6 again. So just because I put the criteria that it has to be remote. And I find that I lost clients mainly because of that. And I was too tied down in execution as well. So I decided to put, BD Labs is still ongoing. We still have clients over there, but that's why Authority Institute exists. So Authority Institute is my third pivot in entrepreneurship. So the first one is solopreneur, but I had to meet clients face-to-face. BD Labs is solopreneur, but remote. Now Authority Institute, I actually have partners and we are building teams, which is another challenge for me as well. Like now, you as a solopreneur, you will enjoy certain freedom and certain speed. Like you can go fast, you can go slow. But as a team, it's actually tougher. Like certain clients I really want to take, but they ask for discounts. BD Labs, I would just take it because cash flow is fast. But at Authority Institute, I need to like think of the branding of the whole company. I need to consult the other team members as well. So it's a good challenge, to be frank, because at least it forces me to think out of the box how we can raise the price. Because at BD Labs, I'll be like, oh, okay, if you can pay for my chicken rice for the next 6 months, then on. I don't have to, actually BD Labs and Placid have made me very short-sighted, which I don't know whether you have that issue yet. So usually for those solopreneurs or those who are starting a business listening to this show, when you start, you have the issue of earning. But once you solve the earning problem, right, I can tell you have the next problem is saving money. It could be just me, but a lot of times because you know that within a few hours of phone call or work, you can make money, you tend to not save for a rainy day. It was a challenge that I'm actually personally still trying to force myself, because the mindset is that I just sit for 4 hours, I can make like a couple of $1,000. Why should I bother with saving? So it's actually a very negative attitude that I'm still trying to fix. So with Authority Institute, I'm forcing myself to think that way, because if the company don't have reserve, everybody is fucked. So yeah. So that's why you are catching me at an interesting moment of my life right now, because I'm my fourth business is actually in the team, but it failed because of the partnership. So now that has given me a bit of phobia. That's why I jumped into solopreneurship. But now I'm going back again on the partnership level, because I realized that without systems, it's going to be quite risky. So it's also forcing me to spend and save wisely as well, which is a good habit to have.
Cool. Offline just now, we talked about, I introduced you as a serial entrepreneur. Can you just share with my audience why you don't like the term serial entrepreneur?
No, because when people talk about serial entrepreneurs, when people say that, meet this guy, Mavericks, a serial entrepreneur, so people always think that, I have multiple businesses, or they would think that I'm doing well, stuff like that. Frankly, it's not, because a lot of times, this is what serial entrepreneurs may not tell you. So if they say they have 5 businesses, right? Sometimes one business is so profitable, but it's actually used to cover the losses of the other 4, you see. So, but it's how you juggle. I think that's how Elon Musk does it with SpaceX and Tesla as well. But for my case, it's always, but I'm always interested in new stuff. So like I do have mini projects here and there, community projects, like even as of now. So Placid, because it was a solopreneur journey, right, I realized the limitations of it. So one of my friends who runs a training company invited me to join them as a partner to bring Placid into their group. So now I'm basically, for lack of a better word, maybe a bi entrepreneur instead of a serial entrepreneur. So the 2 things I'm focusing on right now is Authority Institute on the marketing side, which is a marketing agency. And then the training consultancy is Carson Training. So they do team building, but they're venturing into soft skills and leadership, which is the area that I'm good at. So so basically that is, still running 2 businesses, but it's just a general conception that sometimes people like to boast that they have like 6, 7 businesses, but I usually let people discover that I have a few things going on, because the sad truth is that maybe over the years of minimalist living, like you as well, because I know you have limited wardrobe choices and all that. I was just telling my girlfriend today, frankly, if I have like 10, 15,000 ringgit a month, which is not a lot, it covers everything, because most of my debts are clear. The only debt I have left is my car. I would actually, which means that if 15,000 is passive, right, I would actively go out every day and just look for businesses that I can create, even though it has no money. So I think it's a hobby. I just like to like build stuff. If I go to a charity home, I would know how to fix the problems that they have, and hopefully they become self-sufficient. So money has never been, of course, having money is comfortable. Who am I, right? When you have no money, you will definitely feel it. But there are points in my life where I have a lot of money. That didn't give me great satisfaction as well. But I realized that as I was talking to my girlfriend, Debbie, is that if I have the 15,000 aside, that which every month I know is done, I would actually be working harder on all these ventures that may not even make money for the next year and a half. So I think it's just me liking to be in action.
Yep.
So
you talk about a lot of your ventures, and I would like to pivot a bit and ask you, how do you come up with ideas for all your ventures and businesses, which will help you build your point? Yeah.
I think the benefit of being a marketer is that, you are a marketer as well. So sometimes we see a product and then we see, okay, the packaging is a bit off and the target market is a bit, there's no proper product market fit. So then we just go in and say, take the same product, change it a bit, angle it to a different market, change the pricing, and then boom, that's actually a new venture altogether already, because you're technically taking one product and selling it in a different format to one. So it's a small business that you can make a couple of $1,000 and then see how far you want to continue. But I think I also have a problem of short attention span. So once it's done and it's proven to be successful, I will drop it and I will kind of move it to something else, which is, so that's why is initially in the early days, I thought money or wealth excites me. But I actually realized that sometimes it's the things that I do that don't make money give me the greatest satisfactions. Like you mentioned Kickstart earlier. So Kickstart for 3 years as we were running it is practically non-profit, because we run everything is like favors. It's through speakers will fly all the way from Canada or Australia for free, because and then the venue we had at Mind Valley was free, which we are grateful because of the partnerships and all that. So all in all, in the 3 years, we actually spent less than 500 ringgit. So all the marketing from 20 people at the first event to 8,000 over registrations over the span of 3 years, we actually spent less than 500 ringgit. Actually, it's all guerrilla style marketing. And now even when I look back at it, it's like, fuck man, how do I even, how I did that in the first place? And how come I can't seem to apply it as effectively into my other businesses? So that one gave me great pride and joy, is because I think maybe it's the impact. Just now we talk about impact a bit, or maybe it's just me selfishly wanting to exercise this brain. So a mentor of mine used to tell me as well, sometimes I joke, I say the retirement is like me going to an island and just chill. But frankly, I think I would just chill for 5 hours before I start looking at, hey, I think this island need more coconuts, then let's look at importing and stuff. So the brain doesn't turn off. So a lot of times people ask me, how do you know whether you have that entrepreneur in you? The ideas to fix stuff, it never stops. It's like, and it's not even about making money anymore. And it's almost like an addiction to a certain time. So you see something, it's like, okay, I think I can do better if I just tweak it a bit. So if you have that, I think you already have one great seed of entrepreneurship. Of course, there are other stuff that you need, but that one is, you don't see work as work anymore, which is a curse, but I think it's a benefit as well. Yeah, long answer to your short question.
Cool stuff. You mentioned Kickstarter. Tell us.
Kickstart, yeah.
Kickstart.my.
Yeah.
Tell us more
it's
of
Kickstarter too, not how we started.
Yeah, how you started, and you mentioned that you didn't pay to get all the speakers to come. How do you manage that?
Oh, okay. That one, because we were which is actually interesting. Like sometimes when I think, I don't know how, of all the times of the speakers that we invited, if someone volunteered to speak on the platform, we actually don't accept. It's actually our stupid rule. We would deliberately want to invite the person, then only they will speak. So of the 3 years, and it's a monthly event, which is over close to 40 events. All the speakers that we invite has only one couldn't make it, and then that delayed until she couldn't make it at all. Stephanie Chai from Lux Nomad. So, but the rest actually have no issues when we ask, hey, can you come and speak at the platform? It's for free, it's for community, it's inspiring entrepreneurship. And they actually just say yes. So sometimes I think you need to be fucking thick-faced to just ask. And then so when we started at Starbucks, right? So sometimes we had to, we were kicked out of Starbucks twice because too many people. Then the second time when we were about to be kicked out, the operations manager of Mind Valley was there, and he was actually pissed because he said that, hey, fuck, like, I come all the way. He has to listen to the talk from the staircase, because he couldn't even go inside the hall. It was so packed. Then he said that, hey, okay, we got the Hall of Awesomeness coming up at Mind Valley. Why not you come over, and see how. And they actually gave us the space for free for almost 3 years, once a month, every night, which is good. So that's how I get to know people like Vision, which is also in a way my personal hero as well. Although it's weird that I actually know the mom. The mom is actually my client in one of my previous businesses. Then that's how I got to know him. But the origin of the story I have to tell. So how this Kickstart came about, right? So I was also friends with Kylie and Joel Neal, who started Groupon last time. So the idea was they look at what was happening in the States, Groupon, and then they started Group Small over here. And within a couple of months, amazing entrepreneurs, they managed to get traction and all that, and they were actually acquired. So we were like, man, fucker, man. It's just like basically just copy and just paste in it. Okay, the way I say it is easy, but it's actually a lot harder. So we were thinking, okay, what else is in the States that is trending right now that we can build a localized version? So we were looking at Kickstarter.com, which is a crowdfunding platform. So the idea came like 1, 2 a.m. in the morning. And then immediately we went to buy the domain without thinking. Go and register the company some more. The next day, like 9 o'clock, go SSM, register company. They were having a promo. Pay 1 year, you get 5 years of business license free. Then only we found out that escrow is illegal at that time, which means that escrow means it's like, let's say if you go to a handphone shop and you want to buy that Samsung phone, right? But you only have 200 ringgit. So the usual way is that, okay, I give you a deposit, I go and take money and I come back. Actually, that one's illegal, because no services has been rendered in that transaction. So by right, the vendor cannot take your 200 ringgit unless he give you like a charger for 200 ringgit, and then you go and take the balance 1,008, and then you buy the phone. So we were talking to like a few people from Bank Negara, which was my client at that time. Then we were like, oh fuck. So within a short 12-hour period, great idea, couldn't sleep, register domain, register company, and then found out that, oh fuck, it couldn't work. And we bought Kickstart.my, Kickstarter.my, like all the, basically waiting if Kickstarter.com come here, fuck, like we got all the domains you had to buy from us already. So that's how, then it came, so because you already paid the money, right? So 2 months later, when my friend, one of my close mentors, like Dave Rogers, which is also the founder of Kickstart, came and said, hey, we got a speaker from UK coming, touring Asia. So you want to host or not? And I think it was like only 4 days before the speaker came. So I was thinking, fuck, since you already have that domain, just use it. So that's how Kickstart started. It was purely accidental, just us trying to salvage a stupid business decision. But that has grown. So the first time when we did, 20 people came. It was actually quite pathetic from my count. Although other people say that 20 people, 4 days is actually not bad already. But because I used to run conferences for like thousands of people, so 20 is like damn pathetic. So I actually gave up. Then then my mentor or Coach Dave was saying, hey, let's do another round and see how. So the second time, 90 people came. The third time, the third month is really 200. And after that, it was consistently 200 to 400 people every month. And people were saying that we are stupid because we did not charge a single ringgit for the ticket. It's free. And they say, hey, fuck, I just charge like 10 ringgit, you make that much really. But what we were trying to do is that our challenge at that time among 6 of the co-founders is that how do we not make money selling tickets for an event business? So yeah, true enough, we actually did not make a single dollar from it. But that was I think that forces us to actually think out the box. So from there, I would say I got nothing because no business contracts at all, because Kickstart, the people who come, they weren't my target market for my training company. I got a girlfriend from there, so that's pretty awesome. So, but the branding that I got and I think recognition in the way that people started to know me, I think that one is invaluable. So that's why I think what you're doing, like you're building communities on LinkedIn and all that online, that's great for personal branding, because I didn't plan as strategic as you, but it was all accidental. But I do get a lot of opportunities because of the 3 years that we were doing Kickstarter. So for entrepreneurs that are listening to this show, watching this show, if you think that there's one part of you that you want to build a community, just build it in the way that it doesn't, even if you don't make money, it's fine, because you just never know who's in that someone, in that group. Okay, like the partners I have at Authority Institute now are actually from Kickstart. So 2 of my clients that I have now who used to come to Kickstart like 3 or 4 years ago. And then now when they started a business, they engage me. So you never know the ripple effect. Yeah. So that's how Kickstart started, a business we know which lost 500 ringgit over the span of 3 years. But it's just amazing traction that we got from there.
Cool stuff. Just to recap again, you said you invited international speakers and they just come. They paid for their own hotel, transport, and everything.
Correct. Of course, we try to be smart. We will say, okay, we ask, okay, when are you like coming to KL? So sometimes they say, oh, we are coming for a meeting. So we say, okay, then just conveniently, when you're swinging by the meeting, just come to our event, and after that you can go. So there's even one speaker that Paul Dunn, who's living in Singapore. So he flew in. So this is a trick that I used to do. Now I don't do as often, but last time, because I couldn't afford to attend training programs, right? So what I do is that I offered international speakers, when they come, I go and pick them from the airport. And our fucking airport is like damn far, right? And if it's jam time, lagi awesome, because their coaching is like, I don't know, like 1,000 US per hour, that kind. But in the car, 2 hours, you can talk to them. So they tell you some stories and all that. So every time when they come in, I would drive them, then bring them to makan and stuff like this. I actually learned so much doing that. So as a matter of fact, Paul Dunn, so he flew in and then he couldn't get a flight out that night, So I actually drove him all the way back to Singapore, which is a 4 to 5 hour drive. But fuck, man, this guy, I can basically like talk to him and get advice. I won't say that I'm driving deliberately slowly. It's like, but we reached there in the morning. I see he was freaking tired, so I feel quite guilty as well. But it's just amazing stories and lessons along the way, you see. So I think the hustling part is always there. I think entrepreneurs always talk about hustling, but this is where I see what problem these speakers have. Because if you're an Angmo guy, right? International guy, if you come here, if you don't have friends, it's going to be hard. Like, you end up eating hotel food. So I realized that if I can bring them around, at least I can, sometimes they buy food for me some more, especially when I poor last time. So, but they are grateful for the company and then talk and actually learn so much from them. So that's why I think for young entrepreneurs, sometimes it's sad, because last time, if I have a mentor that's willing to mentor me in Singapore, I would fucking drive down at night just to have an 8 o'clock breakfast, But nowadays, sometimes they ask me out for coaching or mentorship or whatever. But sometimes they are late. I waited for one guy for 8 fucking hours before, and he asked me for a meetup, and he was late, couldn't get. Tried to message him, didn't reply for 8 fucking hours. So Yeah, it's actually very sad to see how the attitude has dropped badly. So, well, what to do?
Yeah, just to be clear, right? You said you
Yeah.
offered not hospitality, like you offered to drive speakers to their hotels and show them around. These speakers, right, are not necessarily speaking at your event, right?
No, they could be speaking at another person's event. And then at the event also, I couldn't afford the ticket. So I said, okay, can I like part-time do this? So you
But
fucking at the
how
hustle
did
lah.
they
You have to
trust
buy
you?
lunch.
Like if like Jay Abraham was coming to town, he wouldn't trust like me. But how did you get them to trust you to drive them around? Did you build a relationship before they come, or?
Oh yeah, literally before they come, so like ask them where they're staying, and then that's why I'm actually fortunate that Tun Mahathir built KLA to be so fucking far away, because then you have like damn far journey to like
Yeah.
talk to them. But sometimes just asking, I say, hey, can I just pick you up, because it could be hard to get a cab. It's your first time in Malaysia, and then so actually it's not that hard to get a cab.
Don't the conference fee organizers take care of that? Or?
Oh, that part, because they are also busy organizing the event, right? So basically my pitch to the organizer is that, okay, you know what? This kind of faring thing, you just trust me, like I know where to put him in. I'll bring him to eat. You settle your important stuff. So it's basically spinning different stories of great value to different parties. So frankly, if the organizers pick them up, right, they may have great conversations as well. So, or maybe they have shitty conversations, I don't know. So at least now, I basically put myself in a position where I can add value. I think that's one thing that my mom has I've always taught me. Is like like the meeting that we had at WISC. So you said that you learned some stuff from it, right? Which I'm actually grateful for, because my mom told me that never walk out of the meeting adding zero value, which means that if we met and I haven't added any value to you, that's a shitty meeting. I should feel bad about myself. So even if I don't get a sale, because the other day that it wasn't transactional, it's just you and me talking, and then I realized that there were certain areas that I made mistakes before, and I offered some suggestions here and there, and it was valuable to you. So that is not just your case. Every transaction that I go, every meeting that I go, I try to like at least put like two good ideas for them to implement. And then somehow, the good thing about being a Buddhist, karma will swing around and come back. So I think life has been quite fortunate in that way, at least for me. Yeah, always add value, which is where I think content marketing comes into play, because sadly let's just look at Malaysia. I don't want to look at Asia in general, but a lot of times when people write content, they write to sell, like buy. If you don't buy this, you're stupid. Bonus 1, 2, 3, buy. It's like, fuck lah. And they send you fucking drip campaign. Every day also book a call now, buy now, download. It's like you have added zero value to the clients or the prospect. Why would I want to buy from you? So the biggest shift that I think people need to do when it comes to content marketing is that, okay, like you provide good value for 3 content pieces, and then maybe the 4th one, you ask something. Or if you damn panda, you just provide value until a point where people ask you, hey, Mav, I've been getting your contents. I've been learning a lot. Actually, what the fuck you do? Can we like do something? So they would like you because you've been adding value. Like sometimes you found, because I like to buy apps online, especially when there's discount. So if let's say I find a great discount, I will send an email to everyone, even though I don't make a single commission. It's like, hey, you should get this app because it can do this for you. After buying, if you don't know how to use it, I recorded a video and a guide. You can check it out. So people think that I'm actually affiliate to them, but frankly, I don't even make a single cent. But it's just the concept of adding value. So I think for businesses, for entrepreneurs, or for brand personalities, if they just take their head out of their own asshole for a while and just focus on like giving value, not just talk about themselves all the time, which I think is, it's just, they have to basically be teaching stuff, adding value. It's as simple as that. That's all content marketing, if you ask me, in 2 words. Just add value crazily. For those who are wondering whether there's a good example, look at HubSpot. HubSpot, fuck man, the content that they churn out, the things that you can learn, the certification is free. Like you can get a certification from HubSpot for free. You can learn digital marketing for free. You'll be like, are they like stupid to give you so much and these are not shit, normal stuff. It's actually good stuff because they believe so much in content marketing, you see. So of course their stuff not very cheap also lah. But it's always stuck in the mind. It's like, fuck man, one day if I got money, I will immediately get HubSpot because of the tremendous value they have been adding. So that's content marketing in a very short summary lah for you.
Cool. As a solo entrepreneur, I found that one of the most important aspects of business development is networking. And I find that a lot of your businesses have started up because of your network and also the opportunities. Can you tell my audience what is your strategies when it comes to networking?
Oh, as an introvert, is it? I'm actually an introvert. So one thing, you always stay near the food, like because actually my trick is this. So it's true, I'm actually an introvert. So a lot of things that you see me right now doing is trained over the years. I used to be a very quiet, I told you that I used to be a Buddhist monk before. So very quiet. I'm one guy that can basically not talk for 15 days and I'm actually okay. Some people don't talk for 15 seconds. They have to like shout on Facebook already. So what I used to do is that so at any networking events, as an introvert, usually we stay at the corner. But I know if I continue to stay at the corner, it will not serve me well. So sometimes I stay near the water dispenser. So when someone come and want to take water, I will take water for them. And then my rehearsed joke is always, man, the fucking organizer are damn cheap ass, man. Normally it would be beer, but today it's only water. So it started with a joke and then we started talking. That's how, as an introvert lah. But so that's one tip I can give you. And always it's easy as an introvert. When you go to a networking event, you go and look for other introverts. They're usually at the corner, very quiet. So they are usually the easiest to make friends first because same. But one ultimate trick that I think I can give is instead of going to other people's event, because if you're an introvert, you will know like if you go to many events, when you come back, right, you feel damn tired one. It's like even if you speak on stage, you come down, you get very tired. Extrovert will be like fucking excited, like a bunny, energizer bunny after that. But introvert is like you speak for 1 hour, have to sleep for 1 week after that just to recuperate. So that's actually the reason why we started Kickstarter, because I realized that instead of me going to so many events and so tiring, why not I get people to come to my event? Then it's a lot easier. So not surprisingly, Daniel Cervantes, we talk about him, one of my heroes, mentors who basically started TEDx KL. He is also an introvert. And a couple of other community builders that I know personally, they are also introverts, which means that maybe introverts make good community builders, which is very weird. So a lot of them, they won't say it out loud, but they will say that instead of me every night go to people's event, why not I just bring them over to my event? So that's how you hack networking. And then you keep the email list. After that, you can just email and talk to them after that. So I think for those, you're right, networking you cannot not do, you have to do. And for those who are introvert entrepreneurs, no excuse, because if you don't go out, don't put yourself out there, right, people just don't know what you do. So it's either you have to force yourself to do it, or you pandai a bit, like you basically create a event of your own and invite the people that you want onto the platform. So that is my way of hacking networking as a introvert.
Cool. One of the things you said that you have experience being a monk. Nowadays it's very trendy because there's one influencer / motivational speaker called Jay Shetty, and he's made
Jay Shetty,
he's like I've been a monk in India. But you yourself, tell us what's your experience being a monk? When did you become a monk? Where and what did you learn from being a monk? and how do you
Oh,
apply it to entrepreneurship?
okay. So I think I was a monk when I was 14, 15, and 16. So my mom had always been a staunch Buddhist. So that year she just came to me and said, "Hey, you love me or not?" Just like when a mom asks you that kind of question, you know it's like fucking blackmail already, right? So you're like, okay, now what you want? So she's like, so I was 14 at the time. So she said, oh, okay, there's this program at the temple, because I'm not originally from Kuala Lumpur, so I'm from Kelantan, which is further up north. So also there's this program at KL. You just go 2 weeks. If you don't like it, we are not going to talk about it after that. So I went, which is quite interesting, because at 14 you'll be like, want to watch TV, play games, and listening to music, and do all the weird shit that teenagers do. But as a monk, you cannot do any of that. So every day is programmed. Wake up at 5, shower, sweep the temple floor, meditate, prayers, have breakfast, Dharma class, and then lunch. And then the whole thing repeats itself again 3 times a day for every day for the rest. So it's utterly monotonous life. So you have a lot of time to basically reflect on life. And at 14 years old, you reflect what fuck actually. You're like 14 years old, man. So, but interestingly, I actually went back for the program for the next 2 years to come. But so in terms of how it has applied in business, I was actually struggling for a long time. Because, they always say that if you are a good Buddhist, then you should not lie. I don't. Then how are you going to work about the margin? So sometimes clients will press price like, hey, Bob, give me a better price lah. Then sometimes you say, hey, really earning very little already. So sometimes the clients would think that, are you like lying and stuff like this? So I was struggling with that for a while, because I know I have to have margins if not, I'll be doing fucking charity, right? So I was struggling for a while, and how do I balance this telling the truth, not lying, versus running a business with healthy margins? So in the end, I actually went on, realized that honesty, as fucking cliche as it sounds, actually honesty works. So when clients ask me, hey, Mav, give a discount, some offers, then I'll tell them, hey, I'm actually running a business because if I don't work on this margin, okay, I can give you a discount, but I may not be in business in the next few months. So you want us to have a continuous relationship or not? So yeah, that's the price I think it's really more value for the white. And it's just about being honesty. And most of the time they say, oh, hey, sorry, just, our company policy asks us to have to ask whether got discount or not. So they're actually fine with it. And I realized that, hey, it was a lot easier so I became more aligned after that. But I think one biggest thing that I learned during monkhood that have applied, my business failed so many times. Frankly, after a while, you get a bit immune to it. But I would openly admit, even though I had gone to great debts, I never been to bankruptcy, I'm fortunate, but at one point I was owing 5 to 6 figures, which is actually a lot at that time. So, and debt is actually not as bad as any relationship or family problems that you have. So when I was building Placid, my mom was actually fighting cancer. So she passed away about 6 years ago already. So I realized that, and then the divorce. So I'm a single dad for those viewers that you do not know. So I realized that those challenges outside of business is actually tougher than business itself. To be frank, I may be owing so much money, like hutang all over, loans and all that, but that has not as big as an impact if versus I have relationship issues with my ex-wife or being a single dad and stuff. So that has affected me over more. And I realized that my monkhood training, the part that works the best was emotional management. So as an entrepreneur, sometimes you get emotional at times and all that, but so meditation helps. And meditation, I have to tell your viewers, it has nothing to do with Buddhism. So even though you are Christian or you are a Muslim and all that, meditation just means calming yourself and just focus at the present. Don't calming your mind, which is actually an irony thing, because we become stressed by thinking of so many things, right? But meditation actually asks you to think about one thing only, which is your breath. And that one you find it fucking difficult. So what the fuck you want? It's like when you think a lot, you get stressed. Ask you to think about one thing, you get fucking stressed. So, go kill yourself or something. So I realized that helped me, especially when my mom's cancer relapsed after a couple of years. And that was when I was starting my 5th business. So money was a bit on the low side. So in Buddhism, they always talk about focus on the present. And I used to have the biggest arguments with my master at the time. It's like, hey, how can you focus on the present? Don't you look at the past and learn from your mistakes? Don't you look for the future and plan for the goal? So my master, after a while, because they are wise, so they'll say me, okay, just focus on the present. And because I was 14, 15 at the time, right? So at one point, my master will come to me and say, hey, I think a lot of things that we teach at the temple, it doesn't make sense to you, but in many years to come, when you have a problem, you would remember. And true enough, this focus on the present, as simple as a concept that it is, took me, I think, a good 15 years after I left the temple for me to learn it. Now, what it actually meant was that, so the time when my mom called me and told me that it's going to be a relapse, and I know, the chemo and all that is going to happen all over again. At that moment, I remember my training and actually focused on the present, which means that actually I felt no emotions. Because anything that affected you in the past, even though it's 1 second ago, is already in the past. So let's say I slap you and you feel the pain. But the moment you focus on the present, yes, you still feel the pain, but you don't feel the anger, because the anger or the frustration was 1 millisecond ago. It's already in the past. You're supposed to focus on the present. So that I always tell entrepreneurs is sometimes when everything is fucking noisy all over the world, all over around you, business is just chaotic. If you can focus on the present, you will know what to do. So then I really fully understand that you look at the past because you want to learn from the mistakes. You look to the future to plan. But the biggest problem with some entrepreneurs sometimes is that they think about the mistakes that they make and they become gloomy, they become depressed. They actually live in the past. That's the problem, you see. So because this thing already in the past, which is all the effects are already gone, but because we choose to live in the past, that's why, oh shit, I should have done that at that time. And, then those who are very idealistic, shitload of entrepreneurs that are building castles in the sky, they are living in the future again. So a mismatch of expectations, you see. So then only I understood what my master had been trying to drill into my head is that, yes, you look to the past to learn from the mistake, but you don't live in the past. You look to the future to plan, but you don't live in the future, because the only things you can do is now. So now when I explain to you, it's actually easy because I fully enlightened in that criteria, living in the present. But it's taken 13, 15 years for me. Okay, so you can apply it to life and to business as well. So I know, business is hard. I know after so many years of doing business, it's still hard. But if you can focus on the present, because entrepreneurs were supposed to solve problems, isn't it? So if you are too stressed, it means that you can't solve problems. Just find your own headspace, just to, so for those who are finding it hard to meditate, Mind Valley has a great app to help you meditate. So go and download. A lot of the stuff are for free. Vision is a great entrepreneur as well who believes in meditation. So by all means.
Cool. That's way better than Jay Shetty's stuff when it comes to learning from monkhood. So one of the things that you said is that you suffered a lot of failure through entrepreneurship. So you even had a divorce, you had debts, you were sleeping in the car at a point of time. So tell us, what kept you going? What made you come out of that valley that you were in? So this is very good point of advice for entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship is sort of like a valley, mountain. So how do you get out of the valley of failure, I would say?
Actually 3 words: fucking no choice. It's like if you don't get out of it. Okay, like you can like, I'm unhappy, but being unhappy, it's not gonna put food on the fucking table, man. You have to like. So I'm not gonna mention names lah, but there was recently an entrepreneur last year who wrote a blog post that she's closing down her business and stuff like that. And I don't know her personally. So, but from reading her blog post, she says that, she's tired of using a China brand phone. A fucking Xiaomi. I was actually using a Xiaomi at that time. So I was like a bit hurt lah. So she was saying that she's tired of eating like chap fan every day. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? Because living in the car, I will consider that's okay, I have, for a couple of months, eat only white bread and water. You know how fucking, like, money until you have to eat white bread. Okay, the trick is this. You buy one loaf of bread, it's roughly like 2 to 3 ringgit, right? The trick is that you bite one mouth, you drink water, and then you bite another mouth, you drink water. One slice can last you like a few hours. Fucking malnutrition lah, but it's enough for you to last because your stomach, because yeast and flour, it expands in the stomach if there's water. So you feel full, then you can go back and work. And when I look at that blog post, right, I'm like, hey, fuck lah, you give me rice with dal or even soya sauce, it's a luxury compared to the white bread and water that I have for like a few months, When I can afford it, I buy like planta, like, then at least, now I can taste some saltiness on the bread again. Thinking about that, my monkhood training has helped a lot in that, because as a monk, you cannot choose food from the menu. Obviously, you're supposed to eat whatever that they give you, right? So you train to eat to survive rather than survive to eat. That's what my mom always say. So when I look at entrepreneurs who like they give up, actually that entrepreneur also raised funding one, So and like got money, and just because you have no time to pick a kindy for your kid, you have to eat chap fan every day, and you have to use a China brand phone and cannot travel. Actually, seriously, what the fuck? Go back. Don't even do entrepreneurship. It's like Elon Musk, when at one point he owed so much money, he was sleeping on someone's sofa. It's Vision's from Mind Valley's mutual friend. He was literally sleeping on someone's sofa. And I'm like, so we hear stories that is like amazing, because I always appreciate the hardship that people go through. But sometimes so we call them strawberry entrepreneurs. Like it's like a fucking strawberry, like just you press a bit and then like the skin just go off. I think the hard entrepreneurs are like the fucking durians. Like you have to like fucking crack it. That's how toughness builds people. So I don't know if that's why when I look at it, hardship is just fucking no choice, because now it's actually even tougher, because last time I can still eat white bread and water, right? But now because I'm a dad, so I can't. It's very hard to get my son to eat white bread and water every day, So it's tough as a single dad, because it's a single source of income, and then bills were still coming in. So and I came from a semi-poor family as well. But after that, my dad was successful after a while. But so the early days because in kampong, right? The bad thing is that we don't talk about emotions. Is that sometimes when you're sad, you don't, because the old people will say, hey, fuck lah, sad can put food on the table, one, is it? Sad you can make into a roast chicken and we eat, one, is it? No, right? Just fucking shut up and go and work. So the old method is like, fuck depression. You where got time for depression? You have no money already, go and make money. Then only you go and do the depression. So I always, those people who suffer from depression, I respect them, but if you ask me, depression, entrepreneurship depression is a choice. Like you may not be, when you fall into depression, it could be accidental. Like sometimes certain things happen, you lose your emotional balance, you fall off. But for you to get back from out of depression, it's actually a conscious choice. You just have to choose to, this is turning into a motivational talk, but it's actually a choice, because end of the day, if you don't do something, your family will suffer, right? So what, you're just gonna like, oh, cry, and if cry can make money, fuck man, I'll be a fucking millionaire already. So I think all the hardship that I went through is that, yes, it's tough. Certain times you will cry yourself to sleep, you get anxiety attacks and all that, but in the morning, you know you have to go out. For me, there's always plan A, plan B, plan C, and plan D lah. There has to be multiple plans. I hate cold calling, but if I have to cold call to get a sale, I would do it. So the question for entrepreneurs is that, do you fucking willing to do that call before you, like, you know, if you can talk big about your business, like fucking passionate and all that. That's why passion is a piece of crap lah, if you ask me. Because passion is like, oh, sunshine, very happy, or I'm very passionate. Passion is actually only useful when it's fucking raining and then fucking dark and like everything is like gloomy. Yes, you need passion. But when sunshine that time, don't even fucking talk about passion, because your life is smooth sailing. Of course, you feel passionate about it. But the true test of a character is always, I think, it's always when you are going through the tough times. And I always believe what John Maxwell told me before. John Maxwell was one of the speakers that I used to work and drive around. So he used to say that if your life is smooth sailing, there's a very high chance you're actually going against, you're heading to a waterfall already. Like you're in the mountain and the waterfall, usually the water is damn smooth until you reach a fucking waterfall and then you die lah. So there will be ups and downs. So my take is that as an entrepreneur, it's a choice. Actually, becoming an employee is, in hindsight, I think it's a lot easier. If you think a bit, you cannot tahan. Ask you to eat chap fan for 3 days, you will like die. Ask you to fucking use a China phone, you will like, oh, cannot buy an iPhone. You know what? Don't even become an entrepreneur. Just go back to employment, get your fucking phone, get your fucking meals sorted out. If you cannot go through hardship, then then it's not a life for you lah.
Yeah. That's great stuff. That's like, I want to reference again, better than Gary Vee's motivation.
But he also went through, I think all entrepreneurs that we look up to, if you look through their biography, I think they've gone through hard times, and that's what builds character right?
Yeah, cool. One of the key things that I get from you is that you always say the word mentor, and you always say I have a lot of mentors. So 2 questions I have to you. How do you find and acquire mentors? And how has mentors help with your entrepreneurship journey?
Oh, okay. Let me answer the second question first. So over time, so there are a lot of mentors that are business mentors, but they are quite spiritual. So they always give me like personal motivation and stuff like this. Like, okay, I'll give you one example. So when I was going through my divorce, so I'm actually a consultant that solve problems for companies and they pay me money, right? So what happened was that when my ex-wife asked for a divorce, she did not give me a reason. So actually until today, I don't know why we divorced. So I can guess here and there, but I never heard from her personally. So that was a big devastating thing, because we have known each other for like 7-8 years. I thought there has to be a reason, you see. So one mentor that came into my life at that time, Dave Rogers lah. So Dave was telling me that, hey Matt, like you are a pretty smart, resourceful person and that, but do you realize that sometimes you make mistakes as well? So I say, yeah, I do. And he said that, and sometimes you don't know why you make the mistakes, right? I say, yeah, it's true. And do you forgive yourself when you make those kind of mistakes when you don't know? And I say, yeah, I forgive myself lah. And he asked me, then why not you just forgive your ex-wife? Maybe she just don't know why she asked for the divorce as well. Because as hard as I want to know the reason, maybe she herself actually don't know the reason for it. She don't have a answer for it. So that helped me, because I was in a limbo for like 3 months. It's like, fuck lah, is it this? Is it that? Is it I'm not spending enough time? Is it this? You're always like looking at all the possibilities, and because you cannot get the answers, you suck yourself into like a semi-depression mode. So it was a great piece of advice came from Dave, because then I realized, oh, okay, means I walk out of that experience knowing that I don't need to have answers to everything. I tried not to be lazy, but I have to try to look for the answer. But if I cannot get a certain answer, then just move on. Maybe the answer is just not ready. Maybe even I myself is not ready for the answer. Right? So actually, a lot of the mentors that has helped me, majority is actually to overcome my life issues outside my business. But I do have a lot of mentors when it comes to strategy. So so whenever I see someone build a business in a certain way, especially in the areas of marketing and business models, because I just love to look at business models. So I just ask them how they did it, why they did it, trying to break down the process. So I do have like instructional mentors that will break down the process for me. And not all the times it works because the situation is different, the timing is different. But if I can get the core learnings, that's useful. So that's the benefit of having mentors for me. So back to your first question is, how do you find mentors? So I asked that same mentor, Dave, the same question almost 18 years ago. And his answer to me was, mentor someone. So in my process asking, hey Dave, how do I find a mentor? And his answer to me is, Mav, go and mentor someone. Then it's true. So since then, moving onwards, I always look for, initially I have seniority complex, because at the time I was like 23 years old. So we were thinking like, hey, how can a younger person mentor an older person? That's just like a bit mindfuck. Teachers are usually older than the students, right? But then I realized that mentoring is not about age, because like I'm more tech savvy. Like I know how to make softwares work a lot better. So I help some business owners and say, okay, your flyer, oh, you don't know how to change the word, is it? Let me change it for you. As a matter of fact, let me modify the design for you. So I was actually technically teaching them how it was done. So that was how the mentorship happened. And because I helped them mentor them in one area, so they would, hey, Mav, can I buy you a meal? I sit you down for 3 hours and you teach me how to operate this software. So that is actually a mentoring process, to teach them, to guide them. And in the process, then they will say, hey, you know what? If you're not doing anything for dinner, join me. And it's usually those times that they mentor me in return. So it's always a give and take. So that's why for those, even nowadays, if you ask me how to find a mentor, I would actually, two things. If I'm in a good mood, I would say you go and mentor someone first, and then it will come. If I'm in a bad mood, I would say, have you been mentoring anyone? If you haven't been fucking mentoring anyone, why the fuck should I mentor you? Go fuck yourself. So it's like, it's the truth, because a lot of teachers would ask, if you are not teaching someone, you are just hoarding the information to yourself. Why should I feed to your hunger, to your greed? It's actually not right. So usually, I know it sounds cliche, but actually it has proven successful for me. Like I have helped added value. Like I don't try to use the word mentor, but anytime, regardless of their age, I try to solve problems for them in the form of mentorship. And in return, I always get mentorship either from that person directly, or they recommend someone to me.
Cool stuff. That's a great story. And then it's like adding value to people who you want to be mentored by. So that's
like the ferrying the speakers around, like, just look for a problem and find yourself conveniently solving the problem for them. And that's how you make friends anyway, right?
Cool. So I want to move on to more executional stuff.
Sure.
One of your companies, which is BD Labs, helps people with B2B strategies. And more importantly, it's about email marketing. So any tips when it comes to email marketing or B2B marketing?
Okay, let's address B2B first. So B2B marketing, usually the sales cycle is longer because you're dealing with the business. There's a lot of agreements. B2C, for me, my definition is like buying some stuff off Lazada or eBay. Like it's very fast, very transactional. Whereas B2B, there's a lot of relationship building, especially in these parts of Asia. So where email or marketing or content marketing can be useful is that, let's say you are the prospect. I pitch to you today, and then say you say, hey Mav, I like your stuff, but timing, budget is different. Chat back again later lah. So essentially, which is common in B2B, because a lot of times the budget is like pre-planned 6 months or a year in advance, right? So the trick is that the old days, you need to like follow up call with them every month. Hey, how are things? Because you want to remind them that I want to remind you that I still exist. Anytime when you need me, I'm still here lah. When you're ready to make a decision, when you have the budget. But I realized that if I use email marketing to do that, which is on a weekly basis, I don't stalk you all the time, but every week I have contents that is valuable. Let's say you are a manager running a team, so I will send you content. I will create my own, maybe I'll create content such as 7 ways to motivate millennials. As a manager, there's a very high chance that you will read it. Like 3 ways to delegate tasks more effectively. 5 ways to coach like an all-star team. So it's always adding value, even though it has nothing to do with my business. But because you are a manager, I roughly know target customer profile. I roughly know what are the problems that you face at work. So I always create or curate content around the areas that add value. Let's say I found an app that's very useful. I will send it to you, download it here, and this is the instructions. So guess what? 6 months down the road, when you want to finally have the budget at time, and because you've been reading my emails like on a weekly basis, there's a very high chance that hey Maverick, remember the thing that you pitched us? Okay, come back again. We are ready to talk. So if you think about it, that is highly effective in B2B, because you can't have salesperson calling, hey Bob, Yang Chala, hey Bob, let's go out for a drink. How many fucking drinks you want to go with the prospect? Because if they tell you no money means no money lah, because it's a budget thing, what? So my motto is very simple. It's like, if I'm a car salesperson, there's nothing I can do today to make you want to buy a car unless I trash your car lah. Because you don't want to buy a car ma. But what I can do is that 6 months down the road, when you want to buy a car, or when your friend asks you for a recommendation for a car dealer, I want you to think about me. So that is content marketing to me, because if every week I send you WhatsApp stuff like, hey, this SUV, awesome because of this. Okay, this petrol kiosk serve the best. So it's always adding value through different channels. Email is just one, because why in B2B emails work well is because if you are an employee in the company, you have to clear your inbox every day. So if I send you the email, there's a chance, if let's say you receive 100 emails a day, that's 1 out of 100. That's where copywriting comes into handy. If let's say the title is useful, like for example, so I'm sure you have managers and leaders and entrepreneurs or business owners listening to watching this show. If I come up with a title that says that, 3 ways to reduce costs without spending a single cent, there's a very high chance that even you yourself would actually click on the email and read, because in your psychology, you'd be like, wow, okay, if I take 5 minutes to read this guy's article and he got 3 ideas, if one of the ideas work, hey man, it's worth my 5 minutes already. So I think the value that a lot of people are missing in the B2B selling is that people don't like to be sold all the time. If I know money means I know money, I don't want to reject your face but if you add value to them, like on the weekly basis, I think that's great. So that's where I realized email is cheap lah. Even if you run on MailChimp or MailerLite, it's free up to 1,000. And then after that, it's like 10 US, like 50 ringgit a month only, 50 ringgit a month that you can reach out to 2,500 people on a weekly basis. And truth be told, so the other day we ran the marketing funnel workshop for Authority Institute. There was this person, Amy, that came. She's on my list for fucking 10 years. She's on my email list for 10 years. Then only she come and sign up for a course. So you just never know when stuff like this will happen. So of course, you can do retargeting and remarketing, the ads and all that. But if you got money, you do that lah. That's why I always say, try email marketing first because it's the cheapest. If you got a bit of a budget, then we do retargeting of ads and other stuff that we can do. If you really stinging on your budget, you already have the databases of the customers. So why not get them to buy more and just put them on the email database? Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's a great B2B tip.
Yes.
When we talked the last time, you told me your stories as a digital nomad, and I think that was part of your experience working around the world. So tell us which countries that you worked at, and what's your tips when it comes to being a digital nomad?
Oh, bad fucking light. Like, I thank you for Tony Fernandez, because a couple of years ago they started implementing the 7 kg rule. Your backpack and your cannot. So since then I started trimming a lot of stuff. So my travel, even though it's for a month, with my laptops and all that and my clothes and swimming gear, it will not exceed 6.2 kg. I always have like a buffer just in case. So for some people, they're like, how the fuck you do with 6.2? Because the laptop itself is going to, plus the equipment, all that is going to be 3 kg already. So yeah, basically wearing the same shirt, not the same shirt for many days. I wear the shirt one day, don't be a fucking hobo or dirty. But you need to basically know how to do your laundry and stuff like this. No one travels with, 30 days. Some people ask, you need to bring 30 pairs of underwear, is it? Hey, fuck you. It's like, most of the places you go, if there's water, there's soap, you can do your own laundry. Coin-operated machines are everywhere. In terms of working, of course, places like Thailand, Bali, I like is actually internet in most places I go to is already quite okay. Australia, sorry for the Australians listening in, it's a bad experience because it's actually very hard to find cafes to work in Australia because they are not like these parts of Asia where the cafes work like 8 to 10, where you can sit there whole day. In Australia, the hours are shorter, very less plug points. So which means that if you sit there, your battery better fucking last throughout. So in Japan, I have the same issue as well because they don't have plug point, but you can sit as long as you want until your battery run out. So I think everywhere you go, you just have to be adaptable. Internet, try to get the one that is really solid. A lot of digital nomads that I see, sometimes because they are freelancers, right? So they will say shit like, oh, sorry, no internet, cannot send you the stuff. Hey, fuck unless you're in the Amazon jungle, I think if you're in the city, you can find internet somewhere, right? Just say you're fucking lazy and you didn't do the job. So a lot of accountability there. I think resourcefulness is also very important. But you're actually catching me at an interesting time of my life because I've been traveling about 60 to 90 days a year, bringing my work around for close to 5 years already. I'm actually quite burnt out. I'm not saying it as a form of boasting because some idiots would say, hey, fuck Maverick, we don't even have a chance to travel and then you are complaining that you're traveling too much. But it's actually true. After a while of doing that, sleeping on different beds, maybe I could be getting fucking old, so the back could be an issue. But I realized that packing for travel has actually become a chore to me. I fucking last minute, 5 minutes, half an hour before ordering the cab to go to the airport, I only start packing, Sometimes I only book hotels for 1 day or 2 days. When I'm there, only, damn lazy, but no choice, I have to book. But last time I would book a few weeks in advance, quite, go through Airbnb, damn adventurous, I want to try. But now it's actually burnt out, literally. So I would, my last trip was to KK in September, just earlier this month. I don't foresee myself traveling for a while, maybe just to rest a bit. I don't know, it's just burnout. Last time I have tremendous excitement. I would talk to people, I'm going to Bali, fucking excited. But now, even after I come back, I don't even talk to people about the trip anymore. So I think too much of one thing can be a bad thing. I don't know. So
how did you fund your digital nomading? Did you have a remote business like B Labs, or what was it?
Oh yeah. So BD Labs was funding me for a while, and then some of the trainings that I do, I basically savings. So some clients that I don't have to see face to face, then which is bad actually, because sometimes if the client really want to meet me and I'm traveling for a month, I have to kind of postpone the meeting, which is bad for cash flow and all that lah. And because as a solopreneur, you don't have anyone else to go for the meeting for you, right? So so basically is working hard for like 6 months so that the rest of the 6 months I can like do this traveling stuff lah. But it's actually not as expensive as you think, because a lot of people say that Japan is expensive. So we were there for like a month, Osaka. Airbnb for one night is actually less than 80 ringgit. Only 20 US in Osaka. So food, of course you can go to the high-end places, but if you go to Lawson or Family Mart, you can get an onigiri for like less than $1 US. So if you want to, and take public transport. So I think one thing that forces me to live like a local when I'm there is because you cannot Uber and Grab every day, because it's fucking expensive, right? So you need to like learn how to take the public transport. So when you're in Taiwan or Japan, you need to learn how to ride bicycle like the local, because it's impossible for you to call a cab all the time. It's going to be so expensive. So then as you live with the locals, then you started seeing where they eat, and then you follow them, and then you into a weird alley sometimes, and then sometimes they will have to order food for you because you don't know how to order from the Japanese or Thai words lah. But I think that's the fun part of traveling, because I hate the most where you go on tours, like 4 days, 27 destinations, that kind, like you wake up 7 o'clock, go to the bus, ride for 1 hour, go there, or half an hour, take photo, buy this, buy that. Okay, get back on the bus again. Fucking no time to pee some more, Then you actually spend so much time on the bus more than actually sightseeing. So I've done that like once or twice. I say that's not the way to travel. So, and all the time they were like, oh, eat at this restaurant, eat this food. You don't even know whether the food is actually good compared to the outside, but they are just asking you to do it, right? So I think digital nomading means that because money, you have to be quite conscious about it. So you'll be a bit wiser in the spending lah. So like when we are in Vietnam, we will deliberately go to restaurants that has 0 English words. Then you're like, Cantonese is say kai tong ap kong, it's like the chicken talk to the duck. You're trying to say beef, no beef, pork and all that. And you just fucking pray when the noodles come, you can eat it lah. So I think that's the fun part of not becoming a tourist, when you travel. Being a digital nomad in a way lah.
Cool stuff. So a lot of great advice I got from this interview. So moving on to the last topic, which is your latest venture, authority.institute. So tell us, what is the importance of building a personal brand, and how are you helping people building their personal brand?
Okay. So I always ask people whether do they Google themselves. Actually, I should Google myself more on YouTube as well. I didn't know all the weird videos that comes out. So it's like, okay, let's put personal branding aside, because it's actually, personal branding has been tarnished so badly. Like, I know some people have personal branding training, and then when you go for the training for 2 days, they teach you how to set the spoon and the fork, how to fine dining. Hey, fuck lah, that's not branding. That's fucking dining etiquette, man. So, so like some shit that, then you need to dress this kind of stuff and all that. You know what? When it comes to dressing, rather than going for training, I think just go for a fashion consultant, because everybody's skin tone, hairstyle, body shape is different. So having a consultant tell you what to wear is actually more effective than you going to training. Or they say must wear more green, and then you put on a stupid green suit and you looks like the Joker from, just sometimes people just don't use enough. So instead of personal branding, I would actually say, so they are experts, right? So like you are an expert in LinkedIn marketing and social media management and all that. So an expert is someone where you need to tell someone what you're good at. So it's like, hi, my name is Maverick. I'm good at email marketing. So which is and I have experience all that, so I'm an expert. But an authority is someone goes to you because, hey, Maverick, I heard you're good at this. I got problems with email marketing. Can you help me or not? So at Authority Institute, we have these 4 quantums of authority. So at level 1 is your competency, basically what you're good at. Second level is actually connectivity, which means that who are the people that you know. So let's say at LinkedIn, you know a lot of people, so that's great. Level 3 is who knows you. And level 4 is who knows you for what you do. So which means that, okay, let's say for example, I can say that I know Tony Fernandez, but he may not know me. So that's level 2 lah. At level 3 is I know Tony, he knows me, we go to events sometimes. That's level 3. But at level 4, it means that if Tony Fernandez have a problem with content or email marketing, he will immediately call his PA and say, okay, you need to get Maverick in this office right now to solve this problem for us. So that for me is authority. So when it comes in my experience, when it comes to personal branding, you need to build yourself as an authority, not in your space. Like when it comes to fucking cooking, you won't come and look for me. Like you want to cook yourself into a fucking hospital, is it? Then yeah, it's true. Sorry, I actually cooked myself into a hospital before. So that's how bad. So I used to joke with my Christian friends. So in heaven, before God sent me down, so there were different queues. I was queuing up for copywriting. I forgot to queue for cooking. So that's why some people were so busy queuing up for cooking and they didn't learn other stuff, you see. So anyway, so that's why I was saying that personal branding, at least in my definition, is that how do you become an authority or a key opinion leader, KOL, we talk about that, or how to become a thought leader in the space that you are supposed to be good at. So like if you are saying that you're very good at LinkedIn marketing and all that, so which means that if I search online, I should be seeing like how you talk about how LinkedIn marketing work and and if you need to do videos, you have to do it. I'm forcing myself to do it. So just now we're talking about it, why my strength has always been written content. But I do realize that video consumption is a very big thing. So we do produce videos at Authority Institute right now, but I realize that getting your face into a camera and talking and teaching, so I think that one is highly valuable. It's about time that I basically invest in that, because we do have a production studio. So I don't have the excuse of, I don't have a stupid webcam. We actually have multi-cameras and multi-mics all set up. So it's just me having to like bite my own advice and do it. So like in my written contents, I will talk about like how to target your audience and all that. So I think even for myself, moving forward, either I do a podcast on it, but my issue with podcast is that it's just listening. It's very hard to show like a screenshot or like a diagram. So I think videos are better, because from there I just take out the audio, can become a podcast ready. Yeah. So I'm going to take your advice on doing more videos.
So like if I were an individual, like for example, I'm a business leader and
yes.
I come to you, Authority.institute, and I say, hi, I want to become an authority. So how would you help a business leader?
Oh, okay. So first we will ask them like who's the target audience that they are going for, because obviously in their matter of influence or the services that they offer, they would be targeting people from a certain role, maybe just HR or maybe just accountants. Then from there, once we know their target profile, we create content, videos or infographics or images or articles. It's a combination of 4. So basically then we will, people talk about social media management. So we basically help them with that, because if you ask me why that business leader, of course he knows online personal branding is important, right? But why is he not doing it himself, even though he had the time? I would say it's because of 4 gaps, what we call the content gap. First, there's a strategy gap, which means that he don't know what kind of content he should be using. He don't know who he should be targeting to. Then the second gap is the creative gap. He don't know how to make the title sexy or catchy. The third gap is the production gap. I know I need to do videos, but software I don't know how to do. Like I don't know how to produce articles. The last and most important gap is actually the distribution gap, which means that once I have the video, I have the article, they don't know how to distribute it so that people will see, you see. So what Authority Institute do for that particular leader is that once we define the target market, that's actually the strategy gap. So we help them with the creative, the production, and the distribution gap. So it's that, yes, we create articles for you, for your target market, make it very sexy, make it very visually friendly. And then at the same time, we will boost their content, usually over Facebook, because almost everyone's on Facebook, just to boost their content out so that they get the distribution. If the business leader come and say that, hey, we got like this box of name cards, like I've been collecting name cards for like the past 10 years, what we'll do is that we will put it into email software. Usually it's MailerLite, and the articles that we write for them or the content, we will actually make it into newsletters. So those people who are not on the mailing list, they will discover this business leader on social media. But those that are on the mailing list, on the weekly basis, they'll get good content from this leader. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that perfectly answers my question. It's about how to create content to build your thought leadership or your authority. So thanks, Maverick.
Actually, one point to add is that I think a lot of business leaders also try to like do it themselves. Okay, like Gary V, obviously he do his own videos lah. So that's why, but he has a team to edit for him, right? But actually, there are a lot of authors I know who write books and all that. They didn't fucking write their own book. It's always a ghostwriter. They have a team and all that. So I think sometimes the business leader needs to know that I just need to give like the key points and outsource it to someone that can produce the content for them. If let's say they don't want to record the video, fine. We just make a video article based on his points, because rather than having the points in their head, putting, I think outsourcing to someone to get it into proper material is even better. So outsourcing is a very, like you talk about the gig economy, right? So there are so many writers out there that can write for you. So just give them the point forms and then they'll write for you. Rather than say, oh, when I got time, I write. Fuck you. If you're not good at writing, then just don't fucking kid yourself. If half an hour you sit down and the only thing you write on your Microsoft Word document is title, ... then you're just not a writer. Just find another. Either you dictate, record, transcribe it, outsource it. It's way better than you just waiting for the right time to write an article, which usually is like 10 years or so, never happen.
Cool. It's more on working on your strength and then outsourcing what you are not good at. So
yeah, correct.
Thanks for the tip, Maverick. So Maverick, we've been talking for almost 2 hours already. So thanks for the chat. Thanks for taking the time.
Hey, no worries, man.
Put this on LinkedIn soon.
Sure.
So